Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the 11th episode of the Gaming Fuse Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Boom Kaboom. It's Snoop Nukem and the room. Welcome, everybody. Hope you're having a great evening. This is going to be a dynamite show for you. But without any further ado, let's bring in our panelists and our esteemed guests for tonight. And then we'll also talk about, again, just to refresh your memory, a little giveaway we got coming up on the 28th of August. Tell you more about that in just a moment. Get to the chat as well. But first, let's bring back in... Well, I don't want to use his tagline, but yes, we know he's certainly charismatic, loud, and opinionated when he needs to be. He's the man who holds it all together. My co-panel member, the one who's so big, we call him Titan Drago.
That's right. We got to bring the comment back to sense today. We got Cog with us. We got Mental 9R with us. We are a full crew tonight. Full crew that is going to be drinking... Snow Cone by G Fuel, baby. Snow Cone. I gotta give this. Man, what did I give this? I think it's a really good flavor, and it does a really good job mimicking Snow Cone. I don't know how it does it, man. I don't know how they do it, but I'm gonna give this one an 86 overall, and highly recommend Snow Cone by G Fuel. Let's get going.
Look at G Fuel getting all that free advertising from Titan Drago. How about that? All right, and the man who's certainly not advertising any hair-based products, welcoming back this week, it is Mental 9R.
No, I won't be advertising any hair-based products anytime soon, that's for sure. I gotta know, though, like that snow cone, it's not yellow snow cone, is it? Okay.
That's a good one.
Okay, I had to ask because,
it's blue.
Inquiring minds want to know. Inquiring minds want to know.
One of my favorite. All right, yeah, I'm blaming you, Mental. Okay, one of my favorite lines from Smite is Geb, and he does this. He's got a snow skin, and he balls up into a ball. He's like, "Don't you eat that yellow snow?" And if you hit someone while you're that ball, he goes, "Ooh, you ate it."
Good times. Good times.
All right. Well, how you been, man? Did you get everything kind of sorted out a little bit?
You're getting there slowly but surely, working through the mess that the movers left us with, and yeah, it's slowly coming together. But I'm a few months away from having my proper office stuff done, so really looking forward to that. And then it'd be a lot easier to make these shows happen for me, that's for sure, instead of having to tell my kids to stay away and be quiet and so on and so on. I'll have my proper workspace, so that'll be great. But it takes time, and we're still working through boxes, finding more and more stuff every day that's been broken, shattered, and destroyed. Right. It's like they were playing soccer with some of that stuff or something. I don't know, but... I've moved quite a few times in my life and never had so much stuff get broken. It's
you guys hired Jim Carrey from the Cable Guy.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Cable Guy!
Yeah, you nailed it, but yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
Well, sorry to hear all the troubles, but it's good to have you back, especially for this episode, because it is episode 11. Where does the time go? And we are bringing in a man who I've been trying to get on a podcast for a long time. He's pretty elusive at times, but I'm glad we finally got him here and nailed him down. The man who brings us his blessings tonight from the Iron Lords podcast, the host of the show, the one and only Lord Cognito.
Yo, Noof, what's going on? The fuse is lit today. I'm in the realm of the fuse. I got Titan Drago here, Mental. We're about to have some fun. A lot of topics today, but thank you for being patient. I know my schedule is absolutely bonkers sometimes and trying to figure things out, but yeah, man, I'm glad to be here. We got a great show. I love these topics. I'm ready to get into it, so let's go.
You gotta show me the guns, Cog.
Come on, it's the beefy boy.
Go, that's what I'm talking about.
It's the beefy boy section.
Mine disappears.
Hold on, Noof. I see that, Noof. Hold on, Noof. Like you're hitting it a little bit too. Okay, all right. I see what's going on. Mental, don't be shy. Don't be ashamed of your beefiness.
Oh man,
we're not beef shaming here in the field.
My green screen saves me, man.
That's what it is. There's so much going on.
It's like I don't have it on the pipes, but the chimney down below, right?
Hey,
the plumbing works.
That's how kids are made. Paris in the chat.
That's how the kids are made. All right. It's going to be a wonderful show.
It's going to be a fun one. I already see.
Wearing my geek specs tonight, guys. Bear with me. I'm not feeling 100%. Just kind of hit me late in the afternoon. Just something came over. I don't know if it was heat stroke or what the hell, but man, just feel like a bag of crap. So bear with me if I seem a little bit off or distracted tonight. And as well, I got to add everybody's names to the list. So here's how it works. Just to update you guys, we're giving away a Mass Effect controller from Power A, courtesy of this podcast here. We're going to do that on the 28th of the month. So if you were here last week, you've already earned yourself one entry. If you're live in the chat tonight, you're getting another entry. So if it's your first time watching the show, that's one entry. If you're back again, that's two, for a maximum of 4 entries if you're here each and every week. And again, we'll do the draw at the end of the episode on the 28th of the month. That's simple. You can go check out the video that I have on this particular YouTube channel if you're trying to get more information on that. Let's give a shout out to our incredible the chat, because without them, again, our podcasts are just a bunch of old farts letting out some wind, basically. So so let's Doggy Dog 420 is in the building. Tell us, Ray is here as well. Draven Nero, hang on, man, what's going on? We got Darko's Dreamers hanging out with us tonight. We got Mogsy in the building. Back from the Dead is here as well.
Ooh,
Papa Woody's kicking it in here. Good to see you, my friend. Who else we got going on?
We got Paris Lily in the chat.
You're Wicked Hot is in the building. We got Iceman LMH is here as well. Good to see you. Timothy Dixon is here. Cyber Gunter. Princess Zelda is in the building. Good to see you here. We got Monster 530. What's going on, Monster? Good to see you. We've got Newtorious. No relation. Sir X-Man is in the building. Good to see Sir X always hanging out here as well. And we got John 907. We're almost caught up here, guys. Yeah, I think we just about got her. Paris is in the building. What's going on, Paris? Is that Paris? Is in like the Paris?
Oh, yeah, that's kind of funny. You got royalty up in there.
Yeah, that's a big name. I've never seen him in one of my chats before. But welcome, Paris. It's good to see you here, my brother. Definitely familiar with your work and the stuff that you do. Thimber is in the building. What's going on, my brother? Eternal Shaddai. Bell Airy is here as well. My good friend Seamus Kelly is hanging out with us. Good to see you. Red Monkey Butt. Fantastic name. And yeah, our Rob is here as well. And I think we finally caught up with everybody. I know it takes a little bit of time, but again, I have the honor of a guess of just that my chat is still small enough that I can say hello to everybody at this point in time. I'm not into the thousands of people in the chat kind of deal, but yeah, it's good to see everybody here. Let's hope you have a really good time and enjoy the show. Let's get into topic number one, shall we? Actually, before we do, let's just get the first super chat out of the way. And again, guys, super chats are greatly appreciated but not required. And Doggy Dog hits us with the first one as he normally does. Titan Drago, take it away.
Just off the top of my head, something about $1.99. Oh, I gotta read it. I cheated. Game Infused podcast time. Whoa! Cheers. That's a little bit different than what he usually goes with. I like it.
Yes, I like it. Thanks for being here, Doggy. You're awesome, my friend. Dreadpool's in the building. What's going on, brother Dread? Good to see you here as well. Okay, guys. Topic number one is kind of a big topic. It's certainly a big game. By now, if you're certainly in the Xbox ecosystem, you're quite aware that there's a little game on the horizon called Starfield. Little is definitely not the way to describe it based on all reports I've heard so far. It's a massive game, and it's probably going to consume many of us for months on end. So say goodbye to the backlog. It's going to get worse. But I mean, how big is this release for Xbox based on the past 2 or 3 years? You know, it hasn't been the easiest road for Xbox. It certainly had its ups and downs. And momentum has kind of dwindled a little bit, but we're hoping that you can start to see it pick back up. And now this ABK thing is largely, well, to some degree, it's in the rearview mirror. Let's hope that they finish that stuff up too and get all the signatures crossed and 41 countries, I think, on board with that stuff. But anyway, I don't want to get into that jargon. But Starfield, I mean, a massive game. Bethesda, it's been a while since we've seen a big thing from them. But how big is this game for Xbox, and how much does it need to hit hard? I mean, I'm not just talking about coming up and being popular, but I mean, obviously, we're all hoping that it gets a pretty high score, right? I mean, scores aren't everything. We know that. But after the Redfall sort of debacle on this game here, guys, I think it's now more than ever. And again, there's another narrative just waiting to be printed, waiting to come out that Xbox can't get high rated games if this game does not do really well. So let's just talk about how big this launch is. Some people say it's right up there with the launch of Halo 5. And I think the last big one from Xbox was probably Infinite. That shit was was crazy, and when that finally dropped. So how big is it? Does Xbox really need this to knock it out of the park? And you know what? Let's start out with the one, the only, the guest of the night. Let's get him on here, Lord Cognito. I'm pretty sure you know what rests in the hands of this release, especially being one of the last big releases from the Xbox game studios for this year.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. No, this is the big one. This is easily the most highly anticipated Xbox exclusive in some time. I would definitely equate it to, even surpassing Halo 5 since Halo. I mean, it's that big because there's so much going on with this title. Obviously, it's a team, but there's Todd Howard and his team. And I know people reference Fallout 76, but that really wasn't it wasn't the A team from Bethesda as far as his personal involvement, with that game.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a lot of pressure here. There's a pressure for Xbox to deliver a quality exclusive title to prove that underneath the Xbox Game Studios banner that Bethesda's a part of now, that that needs to hit. Obviously, as far as Bethesda games in general, games like Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, those are kind of like the soundtracks to my gaming life as far as Western RPGs, and Hitman is directly responsible for that. So now we got the exciting prospect of being in space, right, and all the potential. And I think they really did a good job at the Direct. I think the Direct really quelled a lot of what is Starfield, what should I expect? Because those were the questions coming in. People were like, hey, they haven't really been talking about it. What can we do in the game? And I thought there were so many features, whether it be from character creation, classes, skills, or even from like ship combat, settling stuff, factions. And I think that they're really starting to get themselves in a niche where when we left that 45-minute or whatever it was Direct, we said, okay, now we know what it is. It's exciting. Now the questions are, is it going to be a quality game as a result of it? Is it going to play well? Is it going to function well? Will it be bug free for the most part and playable? And I think that's what it is. So ultimately, to your question, yes, this is definitely one of the most highly anticipated Xbox exclusive games coming. And yeah, it's up there because if it's successful, this changes the perception of Xbox Game Studios and quality. And especially post Redfall,
right,
they need to establish that something under the Game Studio banner can be quality.
So this game does not have the luxury then that, say, a game like No Man's Sky had, where it came out severely lacking, sort of broken, was a fraction of what the game is today. This one cannot go through that process, I assume.
No, not at all. Especially this game was delayed, right? It was supposed to be in 2022. It's a huge blow to Xbox to not be there as far as first party Redfall and Starfield that year. And like I said, there's high expectation here. It has to deliver as well as the quality and from a functional from a technical standpoint. As long as the game is fun and functional, they'll be okay. But they have to prove that. They have to execute.
Indeed. What would you say would be, like, if you just had to take a hunch at something that critics might find fault with? They always seem to find little things, especially with Xbox. Everything gets magnified, whether it's frame rate or resolution or something that basically just totally gets thrown out the window when we're talking about a lot of PlayStation games. What do you think they might try to pick apart here? They're obviously going to have the magnifying glass right up there for all the bugs, right? And this game being so massive, if it's going to come out with some bugs. Let's just hope they're not game crashing, right? But what do you think could potentially hold us back?
I think the major disadvantage for Starfield this year is the tremendous gaming year that is 2023 already. Right, you have Tears of the Kingdom, you have Final Fantasy 16, you have Spider-Man that's coming, obviously Baldur's Gate that is close proximity, right? That just came out. People are comparing that. So we have and Diablo gets an honorable mention, regardless of how people feel about the latest patches and stuff. But look, this is going down as one of those years when we look back at gaming, like this could literally be the greatest year in gaming history kind of energy. So I think, unfortunately for Starfield, it's going to have the microscope even extra because of all the quality around it, right? And I really look at Baldur's Gate, shout out to Larry and those guys, and they really put out a quality product. Now, granted, it's coming to Xbox, it's coming, it's going to be coming to PlayStation, and it's going to be multi-plat, but they set a standard that's even creating a little debate in the community right now between developers, and the gaming community about quality and launching something not broken and launching something feature free and the benefits of early access. There's a lot to unpack here. So I do feel for Starfield in that regard. But I will say this, I got a chance to speak with Pete Hines behind the scenes. This was right around the showcase, and obviously I've bumped into Todd a few times, and I will say the energy is Todd was more humble, but I felt with Pete was more like a quiet confidence that we can't wait to see how you feel about all the things you can do in this game. And yeah, they will be under the microscope, but I think ultimately, I just think they're a victim of an awesome year. if it's let's say it's in that high 80s range, right, as opposed to the clear-cut 90 Metacritic range, right? This is how competitive it is. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's the games industry's gotten really weird when games that score high 80s are almost still deemed as like failures. You know what I mean? There's definitely something wrong with that picture. You come out and you score 80 and above, you should be very proud of your work. That's a damn good score. And most games are almost near flawless at 80%, depending on what your expectations are, I guess. Let's go to the panel. We'll come back to you as well. We'll talk about Gamescom in a bit and whether or not we think we'll see some Starfield footage here. Paris is in the chat. He's saying he must be responding to something. He's saying he's not played Starfield. So
yeah, I don't know, Paris. We got to see.
Yeah. All right. Titan Drago. Where do you stand on this, my friend? How big is this release for Xbox? And do you think they're gonna pull off a W, as they say?
I do think so. The thing is, we got to remember, this game alone is the reason Xbox woke the hell up and spent, what was it, 8 billion, 10 billion? PlayStation, wanted it all to themselves when they saw it. And Cog, you guys got a name for Phil over there, but I got to give him my own. It includes some of my favorites, that the chat know about. So I'm going to call him Phil G Fuel Smite Master Platinum Spencer. Biggest game ever. Like forget anything more. It is what it is. This is it. I think like the biggest surprise to me was from the link that you sent.
Yeah. That
was from IGN. And lately, IGN's been, leaving Xbox out of their mouth like Will Smith just bitch slapped him. So
yeah, I'll be investing today. I see. Okay.
That was the biggest surprise to me. I just hope it keeps my attention personally because it's got base building, it's got ship building, crew management. I love all those things personally. So the thing I'm worried about is, does it keep my attention? Does it throw like enough bones at me at the right time?
Does it have a schlong slider?
Gotta have that enlargement feature, man. Cyberpunk set the trend.
Doesn't Baldur's Gate have that or something right now? Or
a lot of customization on the more beefier parts of your character.
How many ways can we use that word tonight? We gotta push the limits, Cog.
So you created your first character, and apparently it's called Tripod.
Cog, have you been playing it? Have you been playing?
Yeah, I played it. I got it. I picked it up on the Ally. I wasn't gonna pick it up because at first I was like, it's too close to proximity to Starfield. I know how much of a Starfield, but that's the guy I am. So, but then when they told me, I think it was an Addict. He was just like, look, it does have cross save, cross progression, and I was like, okay, cool. And then I have the Ally. And they have full controller support. So that was my key. I didn't want to play it in traditional PC fashion. So yeah, but I've been playing it, and yes, it's very robust character creator feature. And it's very exciting.
Have you run into any bears lately?
I've avoided bears. I've heard that relations can happen. I don't know if I want to put that type of energy into my role playing, but salute to those who like to develop close relationships with those in the wild.
I can't even imagine that nonsense.
I guess that game does have some bare ass in it.
Yo,
Oh.
I see it's new for After Dark tonight. Okay. Okay.
Oh shit.
Oh man, I tell you, I just set him up and he keeps knocking him out of the park.
You knock him down.
Okay.
That's right. That's right. Do you have a certain score in mind? Do you think, like, where does this game get trashed? Right? Because like Xbox fans are just happy. Like, we're happy. I know I'm gonna enjoy the game. That's like I said on my tweet earlier today. It isn't about whether it's going to be good. I'm 100% confident it will be good. The question is, can it be great? Now, is it great? Like, it has the potential to be great, I guess is what we're worried about. Or is it going to be great after, the 50th update? I mean, we can take Cyberpunk as a perfect example. You play Cyberpunk today, it's largely a vastly improved game from the game that we received at launch. It performs better. It looks better. I mean, the game is really starting to come into its own, and testament to those studios that still keep working on it and pushing it out despite the negativity, despite all the feedback. But at least that means they're listening and they haven't given up on it, and and we're starting to see a little bit of resurgence in that game. So that's fantastic. Let's hope that's not the scenario here. But do you have a certain score in mind? Do you think if it hits 90, do you think it's kind of safely out of the woods, or if it gets less than 90, these guys are going to take the pitchforks out and say Xbox got games, but now they're crappy games?
It's good. I'm sorry. I'll jump in. I don't know if I was talking. This is for me, but I'll jump in.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm predicting it's going to do well. I think I'm standing strong on Todd and the team. I'm going to stay. I still say in that low 90, kind of era Metacritic wise. I think they'll do great. Whether or not it's going to, obviously, Baldur's Gate right now is really taking over the zeitgeist, but I don't look at it in that pocket. This is Starfield, this is space, the great frontier. This is kind of like what we've always wanted as far as like a Mass Effect, Skyrim, No Man's Sky, and then the dialogue and the skill trees. I know I am going to enjoy this type of game. Like, what would prevent it from being that great would be, again, game quest breaking bugs, technical performance issues, like it really runs bad, or you really have some really chaotic kind of scenes kind of thing. But I expect them to do well. I've always stood on my square, and I will say this, Newfoundland, you'll get a little messy, Cog, today. Like, I'm going to talk my talk if this game is in the high 90s. I really am, because a lot of people slandered people for even being excited about this game.
Right.
And I'm like, at some point, we do have to respect our legends in the games industry and their track records. And I felt there was a lot of disrespect, whether it be reasons that the game is exclusive to certain platforms or not, that I felt was unjustified, that this team has literally made a ton of quality if you look at their resume. So for me, I am a little biased. I have some investment in the fact that I expect it to be successful. I expect it to be great. And if it is, I'm gonna let people know. I'm gonna talk my talk, because it's been a lot of disrespect to developers, and I've always been pro developers, especially for the teams that make the games that are beloved, that are what I consider Mount Rushmore style game. Like, you cannot dispute Skyrim, Oblivion, you know what I mean? Morrowind, Fallout. Like, these are games that are literally, this man is responsible in his team, right? So I got to give respect where respect is due. But let's do what happens.
You certainly can't knock the Bethesda team for having perhaps some of the most ambitious games on any platform, period. Like, everything they do, it seems like they literally crammed in like buckets of ideas, and for the most part, most of them came out well. I mean, what was the last Bethesda game that really just kind of plummeted right off the launch? It was probably Fallout 76, and even that, like, see, it's still going, and there's still a following. So testament to that.
I've heard it's really good now too.
Yeah, I actually heard it's good.
They didn't just let it die. They came back, and it's kicking butt now. Like, Colt Eastwood is going on and on about how he's playing the thing constantly and just loving it. So
I mean, Days Gone came out and didn't get all the Metacritic scores, and look where that ended up. right?
Yeah.
So why wasn't it the same treatment for a game that had tons of potential, right? A lot of people that played Days Gone, I loved it, thought it was great, but where is that? So it happens. Let's catch up with the super chats, and then I'll come back to you, Mental. Don't worry.
Sure.
Let's start with Drawn TJ. He comes in here with $2. Go ahead, Titan.
Hey, what's up, Noof? Hi, Lord Cognito. Hi, Titan Drago.
Sure, TJ, what up?
He must have forgot that Mental existed.
Yeah. I've been pretty quiet.
Shout out to Mental. Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what happened. You miss a couple of weeks. That's it. Already, you're.
That's it. I'm history. I no longer exist. Easily forgettable. Happens to me everywhere, man.
Mm-hmm.
Happens to me everywhere.
Sir X Man, $2. Noof, glasses make you look like school professor.
Let's go.
Nah, I always told people it makes me look like a fat, nerdy Millhouse.
I was thinking you looked a lot smarter than usual.
Yeah,
Thank you. I'm not smart on the best of days, so that's a nice compliment.
Well, you got the sly glasses, but I'm going to tell you this much. Lord Cognito, you are one of the few people that I've ever seen that can pull off like goldish yellow tint or whatever. Like I could not fucking pull that shit off in a million years.
Master Chief look with glasses.
Yeah. Gotta go for it, man. The workshop look,
Styling.
You gotta style with it.
Yeah.
You're a whole freaking. They got the shirt, the emblem. You got it all, man.
You're doing it, brother. Appreciate it.
Good.
John TJ coming back in here with another $2.
Starfield is going to be as big as Halo 2 and 3, and I think he means combined, and I like it.
Okay.
My question is it going to be as big as Lizzo?
Hey, let's not bring up any bananas or anything.
Oh man,
Lord. Sir X-Men comes in hot and heavy again with another $2. Boy, these guys are throwing down tonight.
Holy smokes, Cognito just turning everyone on. All right, Phil Spencer, Master Game Blaster for Xbox and PC. Okay, he's got his own name for him.
All right, Master Game Blaster. All right.
We call him Phil the Thrill, Spencer. That's
Phil the Thrill. That's what we do. Okay, that's what we doing here.
Phil the
We
Thrill.
got all these super chats, but so I'm going to answer your question.
Yeah.
95 to be exact, Joe Dunmore. Problem is, it's got that easy scapegoat of 30 FPS, and you better believe, how many people are going to jump on that and say,
yeah,
whatever they could possibly say about it, right?
It's hard to imagine they could jump on it any more than they already have, but yeah, all I can say is it better hold 30 and not be dipping down into the mid 20s or something dumb like that. Because if it does that, then people will be all over that. That's for sure.
Otherwise, it's no more God Howard. It's
no
kidding. Jesus
no
Howard
kidding.
or something.
Oh man,
I don't know.
Yeah. No. As our esteemed guest said, though, like they really nailed it with that Starfield Direct. To me, that's what did this to me, like the combo, ready to go.
Yep.
I thought you were going to show a broken controller.
Yeah, no. And I did go out and I splurged on the fancy version on Steam as well. So I'll be there day one on the early release and jumping in and going for it. But I need that 60, so I'll be playing on PC.
You're going Master Race soon. You're getting real bougie with us.
I am.
Okay. You abandoned it. Okay.
I well, these guys will tell you I'm more of a PC main, so I'm here more for the tech side of the talk. But
like Saul for the premium experience. Okay.
Yeah. But I got my Series X over there too. I'll definitely be trying it on that
in the kids' room.
But exactly.
Mental, I see the vision now. I see what you're doing.
I got you. For sure. But no, actually, truth be told, my kids have their own Series X's, so they've got theirs. I've got mine, and
I see it.
they don't touch mine. So, but I've seen how they break things. No, my stuff is my stuff. But,
professional.
No, it's all good.
I got
you.
Yeah, you got it. But
Noof, I'm going to need you to put Dreadpool's chat up there, and Lord Cognito, you're going to have to read this one because I don't even know what That's looks like an inside joke to me. So Phyllis,
Why I gotta read it? It look like inside that I ain't gonna understand. This is hilarious. This is hilarious.
I'm just
this one?
Yeah.
You gotta fill us in. I don't know what that's about.
Deadpool, the homie, $2 super chat. Hey Cog, 2 nuts and the mouth. I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing, Jeff. That's foul. I know what you're doing. Man, I was up in Orlando for GCX and he pulled up. Yes, that is an inside joke. Yes, he is hilarious. And I am not entertaining any of your foolishness anymore.
That's it. All super chats from Dreadpool are now banned.
Out of pocket tonight.
You might as well bring in John TJ's emptying the wallet here. Here we go. $5.
The Dreamcast guy needs the concrete to fill craters in the face. Holy smokes, he's going in on it.
Oh, wow.
Where'd that come from?
Here for peace and love. I'm a piece of
Oh, my goodness. Mix some concrete up.
John TJ, what's going on, man? Did you win the lotto? Here he comes in with $2.
Mental lore.
Mental lore.
Mentalator.
And from Ryan Galloway, who drops in $6.99 Canadian, which is about 30 cents American. Go ahead.
Hey, Noof, Titan, Lord Cognito, and Mentalore. We need to hang out again, Noof. Been way too long.
Oh, shit. Great stuff, man. Did I catch up with everybody here? Fastback, what's going on, brother? Good to see you in the chat. Ryan Galloway, Talis Ray, Iceman LMH, Pixel Slappers here. Good to see you here. John 907, Doggy Dog, still with us. Stinking Corpses in the building. I saw Invader Gaming here back a little while ago. The Game Complainers is in the house. Good to see you here. Who else we got going on here tonight? Cyber Gunter's hanging out. Mass Hole 1977, great name there. Joe Dunmore, of course, is in the building. And wow, Back from the Dead's here. Wow, great crew tonight, man. Great crew. Oh, good to see everybody here. Doggy Dog is always in the building. All right, sorry. Go back to mental. As you were saying, sir. Hope you didn't lose your train of thought. My train is somewhere at the moment.
I lose my train of thought every 30 seconds, so it's all good. It usually comes back to me, but yeah, no, I think I read that IGN article and they make some okay points. I do think it's obviously a massive release for Xbox, right? Xbox gets the short end of the stick every time you turn a corner, but no one game is a platform. So I'm expecting big things from it. I'm kind of with Cognito. I think it's going to fall into that low 90 range, somewhere in there. If it gets into the 80s, I'll be a little bit surprised, maybe a little bit disappointed. I want the thing to be huge. I want to be able to say, yeah, I told you so, right? I think all of us kind of want that because Xbox just gets that. I mean, they can be Publisher of the Year like they were, what was that, 2 years ago? And they still end up getting, Xbox has no games and they suck and they're terrible because they have one bad release in Redfall and suddenly they don't know how to make video games and they don't keep tabs on their developers and they got a bit, more hands-on with the studios. But then if it goes the other way, then they're too hands-on, they need to let the studios do their where's all that? You never hear that with Sony, right? So anyway, that's my take. They're more than just one game, but I do expect big things from it. I think it's going to be awesome, and I'm super hyped. Obviously, I bought all their junk. I've spent too much money on it, but actually, truth be told, I used mostly reward points for that anyway. I didn't put out much money, but yeah, no, it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to the release, and I'm going to hop on there and give her hell.
Okay. Before we jump into the sort of a segue into our next topic, one more super chat coming in, courtesy of our good friend, Sir X-Man. He drops $2.
I was going to say Phil Spencer, Pony Blaster of Jim. So Sir X-Man is basically saying, Phil Spencer's destroying Jim. And hey, I mean, that's kind of a new topic, right? Like, how long is how long is Jim Ryan going to be sticking around after this Activision acquisition, and who knows what type of deal, what type of, is it going to be 80-20 that PlayStation is going to give Xbox? Like that, I'm going to tell you this much. When that deal goes through and Call of Duty goes to Game Pass and they got to work numbers and as far as the PlayStation 6 goes, like they got to know they got to know the ins and outs of the PlayStation 6. And Sony was already saying how they're not gonna, how they don't want to tell them. So like holy can of worms, Batman. You know what I mean? So
gets interesting, right?
He'll have a new name. It'll just be nice and short. Jimmy the Clown Ryan.
Oh man. No, I mean, I see what you're saying. I'm sorry,
yeah. No, all this flying around and all the crying and everything he did, he just looks like a clown at this point, you know, because you find out it was all a load of crap, which we knew from day one. None of it made sense. As if one game would break PlayStation.
Can we all show
complete insanity?
Can we all show hands and vote for what's her name, Lulu Missouri? She should take over Larry Herb's job.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, she was outside. Yeah, she was definitely verbal. She was the one that put out the whole thing with Jim stating that his whole intention was, I don't care what I have to do. I'm here to block your deal. So we know that part was not in good faith, right? From him. And I agree with Mental 100% in the sense that, you know, they knew he's doing what he's got to do for his shareholders. I get it, right? But we all know with the competitive landscape of gaming, that single title, as great as it is, based on market positioning, was not going to be a non-competitive thing. It actually was competitive and better for gamers. So I'm with you. We all know the song and dance and the politics that was going on with that foolishness. So I agree.
I love her attitude, man. We need more people with an attitude like that. Like, all right, Matt Booty, man, when he does these interviews and stuff, he reminds me of, I don't know, like Mr. Rogers or something, you know? Like he seems all too goody two shoes, you know, when he's got the camera on him. But then we got these emails talking about we're gonna spin PlayStation out of business. Hey, I like that, you know, like, hey, get some fire, light some fire into these motherfuckers' asses. I love it, man.
Tight like the smoke.
Could you guys, just theoretically, could you guys have imagine what this deal would have been like in this whole court case if Steve Ballmer was still at the helm? That shit would have been fire, man.
Steve was outside with his personality. Yeah,
imagine the dances. All right.
I remember that beef. I know what you're talking. Tight, you funny.
Yeah, I remember watching, you know, those videos with the 360 days, and they even what's his name was at the helm there when they had the Red Ring of Death. What was his name? The guy from that he used to have from EA. What was his name?
Oh wait, you talk about my man? You talk about Peter Moore? You talk about the great
Peter Moore? Yes, when Peter Moore was the legend Peter Moore when he was there. Did you watch the behind the scenes and he was talking about there, especially during the Red Rings of Death, and he had to answer to Ballmer, and it was just like the look on his face, like he just gave him the look. It's like, oh my god, you know, it's just
no, that was classic, bro, because he called it the Tylenol moment. That's when, you know, 360 is at the height of its success. Then we're hearing about hardware failures. You know, they start to deduce what the problem is, and now you got to go to your boss to ask for this exorbitant amount of money to correct an issue, right? That's really going to be a net loss. And his job's on the line.
Fix it.
Yeah. I remember it vividly, and that's part of, you know, Peter Moore and his greatness. And he's like, "Yo, I'm thinking I'm walking into this room. This could be it for me, right? I could be fired." And he convinced Ballmer to agree and said, "Go ahead, take care of it. Do what you got to do." And he called it the Tylenol moment because Tylenol had a similar problem when they were offering. Remember before we used to have safety seals on top of aspirin and Motrin? They didn't have it, and I believe people were getting poisoned and stuff was happening. So Tylenol had to recall and then put all that on, you know, to protect the consumer. So they had to protect the gamer, so to speak, with the Red Ring of Death. But yeah, classic story.
And the thing that gets me about that Red Ring of Death is how conveniently all the people, my Xbox died, piece of crap. They forget that Microsoft extended the warranty on that thing by 3 years.
Yes.
And when Sony started having their problems, like I had 2 Fat Boy PS3s, they both died from yellow light of death. Do you ever hear about that? No one says anything because it was 3 and 5 years later.
And let's be honest, we all played the hell out of our 360s, okay? That was COD 4. Oh my God, I'm surprised didn't burn my house down.
Remember they used to go to GameStop. No one knew what the problem was, right? So they used to have those cooling things, accessories for your system.
And supposedly
I think the house explosion that was in Pennsylvania today was probably caused by a PlayStation.
Yeah, best. We're not going to talk about what happened at Evo. I'm assuming. Oh man.
The 360 had the accessories, man. King of the accessories, that were actually like cool. And you remember the hard disk drive you could have, the expansion, man. That was awesome, man.
Oh yeah.
They had it all.
I've still got my Halo Reach 360. It's like brand new, sitting in its box, all pretty. Once I get my new space set up, I'll be pulling that thing back out and setting her up as well.
Got the face plates. Remember those?
Face plates.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
On the original, yeah.
Yeah, and every console had those bloody fans that you'd plug in, the external fans, the cheap knockoff crap that would probably only overheat everything or blow out your wall circuits, you know?
That's what Cog was just saying.
Loud. Yeah.
Yeah, let's just add more bulky accessories to make these things look more hideous than they are. Yeah.
I want to see a 360 with literally every attachment onto it, man. See what that shit would look like at the end of the day.
Like the Sega Genesis when you had the 32X, the Sega
CD. Power, baby. Our power. Let's go. Yeah. CD, 32X, all that.
Remember like the Master System? The Master System had the, was the Sega Genesis?
No, you're right. You're going back, dude.
Adapter. Remember that?
Bro, you talk about the power-based converter.
Power-based converter.
Yeah.
And then you add it, like, what was it, like the game GDs and stuff on top of that.
On top of it. And then remember X-Band. I don't know if anybody remembers X-Band. That was like the first attempt at like online gaming in the 16-bit era, where you put literally a RJ11, the telephone wire cable, into it. And you're like, Mom, they can show you that on the internet tonight. I'm about to play NBA Live or Madden.
Oh, my God.
It was no voice chat, but it was a controlled ecosystem. That was like early attempts of online competitive gaming. I remember the X-Band.
It's hilarious.
Dang, I don't even remember that. Holy smokes.
Yeah, I've got my Sega Genesis still, but I don't have any of those fancy attachments for it. I was already I was a PC guy at that point already, so the console was there for a few things. Like I was a big NHL fan back then, so I was always playing NHL, like 95 NHL.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Classics.
Oh yeah, I've still got them, man. It still works. I had it fired up just before we moved here, and it'll be set up as well as soon as I get my space.
Laying a big hit in Madden and watching the little ambulance come out to take the person off the field.
Run the ball. Oh, that was classic.
We used to make a point of going around and seeing if we could get the entire opposing team rolling around grabbing their shins in FIFA. I remember that.
Testing the injury AI.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious. They were rolling around the ground, grabbing their leg.
Yeah, we used to do that. There was if you remember, Mental, with NHL, there was a thing to try to injure the player, and like there's a classic movie called Swingers where this whole guy's intention is to injure Gretzky and get him laid out on the ice with the blood comes out. Like it was hilarious. That game called, but I will say, NHL, because obviously for the South Bronx we didn't have hockey in our area, but NHL is the sole release at 94 specifically is why I started to watch hockey and get into it through a video game. Is what made me have an appreciation for because I didn't know anything on the teams. I was like, who's this number 66? What's this? Like I became a Pittsburgh Penguins fan overnight because of that line, Lemieux, Francis, Yager, and all that stuff. Yeah.
You know the biggest thing that pisses me off about hockey? Off fucking sides, man. Why am I offside? Who's offside? You can't even control that shit. AI's going offsides on me.
Facts.
That's funny.
Turn it off.
Yeah, I had to learn the rules. They're like, what's all these line changes? How come I can't play with them the whole game? Like, I was getting all frustrated. I was like, who are these guys? What's the checking line? What is that?
Get the third and fourth lines that you have them other 30 seconds are already dog tired and your stamina meter's way down.
Those are the
got up down the ice twice, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we got another super chat. Draw TJ drops $2.
Lulu should take over ABK as the head. What do you think of that, Noof?
There you go. Go for it, man. I'm okay wherever they put her. She's spunky. We need a little bit more of that in this industry these days. Yes. If nothing else, it's good for a good laugh and all that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? But anyway, we're cruising right along here. Let's get into Gamescom. Do you guys think we will see Starfield at Gamescom? I'm hearing word that we will not see anything from it, which is kind of odd. I mean, is this it for Starfield? Like this is it now until the game launches, more or less. And what is everybody's expectations for Gamescom? We'll start off with Mental on this one. And then
I hope
particular, or
well, I hope Starfield's not there personally. right? I don't need some, press guy messing around with it that doesn't know what they're doing and then coming out saying, "Oh, it's trash." It's like, I don't think they have anything really to gain, where they have probably everything to lose by putting it out there. And I mean, the reality is, I don't want any spoilers coming out either from people, messing with it and seeing something that maybe is a bit of a surprise, right? I just want to be able to go in and play the game. Other than that, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Forza's there. Little sampling of Forza or something, because it's getting a bit of a bad rap right now, because I know that's a topic later, so I don't want to get too much into that. But other than that, maybe they show a little bit of Hellblade, perhaps. You might see a tidbit of that. I mean, that's another one I am so looking forward to that game. I love the first one. I've played it completely twice, and I probably will play it once more before the next one comes out. Yeah, I mean, other than that, there's not a whole lot that I would really be looking forward to. There's probably stuff I'm not thinking of, but right at the moment. But yeah, I don't expect to see Starfield, and like I say, I hope they don't have it there. But I would like to see maybe a little bit more Forza. I've seen some weird videos, well, again, I'm getting into it. I don't want to wreck that topic. I'll shut up now and pass the torch.
Do you think we're going to see anything new, or just be more of the stuff that we've already known about, like you mentioned, Hellblade?
I don't think, personally, I'm not really expecting anything new. They got so much on their plate right now, and so many things we know about, that I don't think they need to tell us about anything new right now.
Okay. Gotcha.
Right? We might see a little bit more about, some of those games that, were announced 2 years ago that we haven't heard much of since. What was that one, Everwild or something? Or can't think of that name. They kind of rebooted it. Maybe we'll see a little bit more of Fable, games like that.
Right.
I think Fable could probably use a little more exposure. But yeah, it's hard to... Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to say. How about you, Titan? Anything in particular you would like to see from Xbox at Gamescom?
I got a question, first of all.
Go ahead.
Does anyone fucking listen to me on this podcast?
we try not to.
Mugs,
we try not to.
Confirmed not to be at Gamescom last fucking week.
Yeah,
I told
we know
you
that.
Why. Can anyone in the chat bring the comment back to sense in regards to this for me, please?
Is someone talking right now?
I know, right?
What's that?
What's his name?
Here last week. He's got an excuse.
Yeah.
I wasn't here. I did watch the show after, but I tried not to listen. I always muted it when I could see your lips moving. I just hit mute quickly.
Silence that boy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Cyber Gunter. See?
Yeah.
This is the Spike players. Oh, you mug.
Icelander. Okay.
They're PlayStation podcast people, man. They hate
Todd,
hate
if you don't know, there's no bigger Smite fan probably on the planet than Titan Drago, and he pretty much brings up at least once every podcast, and he gets literally shit on completely.
There's always this Smite reference. I got you.
Okay, the whole chat, they're all a bunch of PlayStation podcasts, man. They hate Xbox, but they can't stop talking about it. This chat hates Smite, but they can't stop talking about it.
That's your logic. See what's going on.
That's it. Well, sometimes I hate my wife, but I haven't divorced her yet. Just kidding.
He doesn't watch this show,
Just
right?
kidding. No, thank God not. As a matter of fact, our 12th anniversary today.
Oh, salute. Congratulations.
I'll age myself. We just had our 30th.
Holy jello Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, you got married young.
Unbelievable, eh? I did, yeah.
Yeah.
I was just a kid. I was 15.
That's it, eh?
No, that's not true.
I
But
was gonna say, what kind of laws they got up in Canada?
Down early.
no.
What's the legal age in Canada? 12?
I was about to say that's news to me. What's going on in Canada?
Like we were dating for years.
No, we were young though.
Married at 15.
Yeah.
Freaking. No, my biggest
the cold here, man. Is once you get them in, that once you have that first date, you got to keep them. You got to snuggle the whole way through. That's what it is.
Cuddling, good news.
That's why I like it cold. I like it
That's
cold
a podcast.
I feel like I don't know, warm blood. I like it cold in the basement, and then like the wife likes it warm. That's why we moved down south. She likes the hot weather, and then it's like when it comes to cuddling at night, man, if it's not freaking cool, how fast does that heat build up when you're cuddling with somebody, especially in a hot fucking room, man?
Let me tell you, making love takes on a whole new meaning when it's -30 outside. You know what I mean?
It's called Survivor.
Listen, that's good cardio as far as I'm concerned. That's health is wealth.
We are about to hit the squat rack, dear.
Cog, do you do dick push-ups yet, man?
Yo. I'm not putting my meat on the table tonight.
Man. Join us.
We got a
every
super chat real
Thursday
quick.
for
Sir X-Man dropping
Cuddling
$2.
with Noof.
Black Panther exclusive for Xbox. Bring the hate.
Interesting. Some news dropped that I don't know about. What's going on?
Yeah, that was foretelling, wasn't it?
Yeah, what's that about?
See, a picture somebody posted on Twitter or X app, as you call it. Was it something that says about gyms? It goes, remember to bring your towel and wipe it down. And it's a picture of, I guess, some dude sitting on the bench, like when he got up, and you can literally see the sweat from his legs and his ball sack onto the fucking bench.
Words, yo. Wipe the machine down, bro. Wipe the machine down, please. Yikes. Can't do that to me. I'm coming up next.
You ever have to correct anyone like that, Cognito?
Oh, yeah. No, bro. I'll be like, yo, sir, bro, you got to get that towel. You got to wipe that down, bro. Lay that thing.
Stop coming to the gym in a loincloth. Stuff's dangling, okay?
Oh,
you can't be swinging in the gym like that. Come on, man. Commando in the gym is a no-go. That's not it.
Oh, shit, man.
My biggest surprise for Gamescom was, oh my gosh, I'm blinking on it. Stalker 2?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Confirmed to be there, man.
Maybe early.
Yeah.
Well, early, like earlier than like maybe next year.
Well, they moved
like
the
earlier.
whole development team, right? Like they moved them right out of the Ukraine. So
yeah.
So like I'm expecting a release date or at least a really small window, Gamescom time. So that's gonna have me because I don't know. Maybe I saw one. Maybe it was just rumor. I know I didn't make like a for sure mental note of it, so it might have just been like from like a an unreputable source or something like that. But winter.
Now, if I said it like a mental note, then you'd know it's true. But
there you go. See the wordplay. You see the wordplay.
Well, I can say it 10 fucking times on this podcast, and no one will fucking hear it. So.
I'll tell you that I did hear something similar. Like I saw a rumor similar to what you saw with relation to Stalker. Maybe December was the rumor that I heard. Again, not reputable source, but it was kind of floating around. So we'll see. We'll see, right?
I hope. Man, that's the one for the end of this year. Because Starfield, like what do you call that? What would you call that? The fall window?
Yeah.
Right? And the winter window would be Stalker 2, like 4 a year.
That'd be cool.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Push everything else back a little bit, and we're good to go for this year. Those are your two big ones.
Yeah.
And UE5, holy smokes! I can't wait to and it's confirmed 4K 60. No bullshit, no messing around. This is gonna be UE5. It's gonna look top tier. Because I remember when Starfield, there was the longest time no one knew it was going to be 60 frames. I was really hoping for that 60 frames announcement. Got let down, but still. Hopefully.
Is Sony even going to be at Gamescom? They're not notorious for being there, are they?
No, they're not going.
Yeah,
maybe
no, but supposedly there's another like
PlayStation Direct.
Whatever they were going to call
it.
That
wasn't the real show that they had before. We know this. I mean, all the ponies told us that, right? It wasn't the real show. The real show's coming. So we'll see.
It was saying for like 4 weeks in a row now.
It's like Stellar Blade game, the one with the lady with the good buns. That's the one I want to see. That should have been on Xbox until they pulled it off. They threw some money at it. There you go, money hat in those games. It's okay when they do it, though. It's okay when they do it. Yeah, Sony just protecting their investments. Like, screw you, Xbox.
Messy.
Yeah, messy. Jesus, super chats are rolling in tonight. Cog, I don't know what you did, man, but everybody open up their wallets tonight.
I told
Holy
you it's
shit.
gonna be a beefy show. I told you.
Damn, well, there's almost enough super chats tonight I can pay for a prosthetic. That's great. Shit. Well, let's get to him right away here. Sir X-Man, here we go. $2. Go ahead, Titan.
We'll still have more games than Sony next year. Facts.
Very competitive.
And RWK88 coming in hot. $1.99.
Sorry I'm late. Don't spank me, Noof or Handy Andy. Oh, we had to
right.
bring him up, didn't we?
Oh, yeah, Handy Andy's got to make an appearance tonight, but he wasn't here at all last week.
Rhyminy.
Yeah, he took a week off. He was a bad boy. All right, but anyway, let's back to business. Cog, what about you, man? What are you hoping to see for Gamescom? Anything new?
I'm just happy for the presence. I think last generation, Xbox in Europe was really lacking, and I think that's where Sony really. And to Jim's credit, I know he's getting a lot of slander tonight, but to Jim's credit, that's where he rose to prominence with Sony and really solidifying them in the region. So to see Xbox have a booth at Gamescom is significant. To see Xbox actually have a lot of games that appeal to that market. Forza, I really anticipate for them to have a good presence there. It's a huge title. It's turn 10. We should see the the simulation community come out for this, and obviously we'll get into the other controversies with the next topic and stuff, but that's a big presence. I did heard that Starfield will be shown like in some type of theater or booth like whatever presence, but not playable, right? So I'm of the camp that it doesn't need to be there. It's going to be releasing so soon, and then you're talking about taking development time to make a vertical slice for this limited amount of time in conjunction with the type of game it is. It's such a do anything open world kind of game. You could actually do more harm, having that built in a vertical slice and people having their own little misconceptions of what's going on. You really can't explain the title of that scope in that manner, in my opinion. So I'd rather developers, Bethesda, heads down to the finish line, polish all the way, and all the resources there as opposed to Gamescom. But I still think Gamescom, they will have my predictions is probably get some, obviously some Game Pass announcements. I do think they will have presence. Obviously, we said Stalker and some other games that will showcase pretty well there. But I am hearing rumblings. That they expect a bigger presence than normal. They may have something to announce, is what I'm hearing. I don't know to what capacity, but
another controller?
I hope not. We're good on controllers. And nothing, no scratch and sniff controllers. I'm good. We have established they know how to market controllers. One thing is, I need to see. What I'm liking to see from them is that it isn't that temper expectations energy. It's like, no, we're going to show out big at Gamescom. Now, what does that translate? What does that mean? I don't know, but I'm gonna be tuning in, man. I think they really have a shot to do something special to kind of start the get the anticipation up in that region specifically.
Well, like I said, I'm always down for anything more Hellblade, right? I mean, that game's got to be getting closer to completion and not. I mean, definitely that. But I mean, also would like to hear more what Compulsion's been up to. And you got to think that at this point in time, I mean, this is literally the fall. This is the last major show, I think, until we kind of get into the holiday season, where again you kind of let the game speak for itself, because you don't want to take away and distract people from the games that are out. That sort of thing. But you got to start thinking that at some point they got to be gearing up for the spring releases. Like they've got to have a couple of heavy hitters coming in early first quarter of 2024 to kind of keep that momentum rolling, because like if Starfield comes out and it hits hot, and I think it will, like regardless of ratings or where it is, I mean, people are going to be playing it. It's going to be a huge game. Hopefully it drives up subscriptions, which is their number one hope that it does. It brings up subscription numbers, and I almost 100% guarantee it will. I think you're going to see Starfield everywhere, that sort of stuff. So I think, like we should be seeing something that's, like I said, probably going to land somewhere early in 2024 if all goes well. So it's just hard to say. They got so many studios now, we just can never keep on top of who's doing what. And like you said, I think we'll see a little bit more of Forza, because that's just around the corner. And that's kind of where we're segueing into the next topic before we kind of basically close out the show here. So, any further thoughts, guys, on Gamescom and stuff like that?
Just want to add, Nufu, you made a good point about Hellblade, and I definitely, in my opinion, it kind of behooves them to at least, if they can, get ready to show some of the combat portion. Because if there's any nitpick to Hellblade, as great as it is, the use of sound, voice, psychosis, mental illness, that's amazing. The only issue was, okay, the combat got repetitive, right?
Yes.
You want to see, and we know that they've claimed that the actress has really done motion capture. They've really focused on. We know they've said it, but we need to see it, because that was my biggest disappointment at the direct. I love that they were there, but I'm like, please show me some action of what she's doing. And then I know the game's going to be great, but it'll just calm the nerves of anyone that have any concern. So if they want to show a little bit of combat, even if it's a cinematic trailer, that'd be great. If Fable wants to show anything from a vertical slice, or Starfield wants to show anything else from a vertical slice in the theater video or whatever they're going to show, it would kind of help their cause for those games.
I'd like to see her maybe get a shield perhaps in this game, but one thing I kind of don't want to see is, honestly, and I don't know if you guys agree, but I don't want to see a bow and arrow.
No bow and arrow?
Like, I guaranteed if they add another weapon to the repertoire, it's probably going to be bow and arrow, because it seems like that's in every freaking game now.
I mean, she was throwing the spears at the thing. Remember on the beach?
She was doing this. Yeah, so the spears are in there. Yeah, absolutely.
What would you prefer to fight with?
Well, like, maybe she gets a variety of swords or something like that. I don't know, like maybe something like that. Or like I said, she does get a shield, which would kind of mix up the gameplay a little bit, as opposed to before she just had the roll and strafe kind of thing.
I'd be down with a shield. Unpopular opinion, maybe, but I didn't have a problem with the combat in the first one. It didn't take away from the story for me at all. Like, for me, it was all about the story, and I mean. The voices in her head, like, that just made the game for me. I didn't really care that the combat was fairly simplistic. In fact, for an old guy like me, that just makes it, better. I don't have to remember too many buttons, right?
Combat.
It's like, hey.
I like it because it forced you to face your enemies. It forced you to face, and it forced you in tight, right? And it was visceral. I do have to agree with Cog. After you do that for like an hour and a half, it kind of gets a little repetitive, but the whole game wasn't constantly based on parries or blocks or this and that. Like it was fairly simplistic, easy to pick up and get into it, but did take a little bit of mastery. And like you said, the game was so much more than just fighting and slashing things. It was literally about the story, the journey, and hopefully they're going to keep it the same, where they're not trying to turn it into an RPG, and they're not trying to they keep it a story, linear, just a great adventure.
No
that's
leveling
really
up, just play the game. And I even enjoyed the puzzles, so maybe I'll get some hate for that too, but I don't care. Bring it on.
That one with the dangling puzzles was the one everybody said that was the worst one, the one where you had to look at the
right angle,
and you had to go through like the door and get up on a level and look at it. That one was tough as hell.
Thank God they didn't make those any harder, because that could have ruined it.
It could have got crazy. They got to get crazy.
I could see her wielding this, like, I don't know, master sword type weapon, this fantastic sword or whatever, and at the end it turns out to be a fucking broken stick, because she's all fucked up or whatever. I could see that. Okay. I can see that going down.
She finds Link's master sword in the woods somewhere. And yes, please don't make breaking weapons.
Oh yeah. Oh jeez. I don't want to have to repair anything.
I thought you were a supporter of that, man. Like you didn't think it cared much, eh?
Yeah, they give her a stamina meter, and you can hear her head and the voice. I'm so fucking tired. I'm gonna swing this damn thing anymore.
Noof is out. Noof is out.
I'd probably be out at that point too.
Venture's out. Really, that's it. No stamina, no broken weapons. I
just want to play, and I'll be sick of fixing stuff by the time I'm done with Starfield. So
you already know. Yeah. Can't wait to board other people's ship and seize them. I can't wait.
No, it's gonna be
that feature took me to the moon. I didn't even know you could do that in the game. I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah. That sword feels real hard.
It's funny Hellblade to whisper it like that.
Melina Jurgens, yes. No, that's good. So, well, let's hope that they have a great Gamescom, and like I said, I hope Cognito's right, and they got a couple of big things to show off, and I think we will see a little bit more now as stuff is starting to get a little closer to fruition. But right now, we can definitely tell that all eyes are on Starfield, and certainly our fingers are crossed that it comes out and kind of sticks the landing for a space game. Yes, it needs to stick the landing more than ever before. I think Bethesda and Bethesda certainly aware of what kind of rides on, But that's just it, right? Because this is a big game for them, regardless of whether Xbox ever bought them or not. But the fact that they are underneath that umbrella, and it's not just their reputation now, it's how the Xbox brand is perceived moving forward. It's almost like a double whammy. It's like double the pressure now. Yes. They got to do it for them, and now they got to do it for the brand of Xbox, right?
Excellent point. And I'm so with you, Noof, because I think the blessing in disguise, based on what you said, is the Redfall situation. Because Bethesda learned they can't operate the way they had been in the past, because now they're under the Xbox umbrella, and Xbox recognized that, hey, if you're too hands off, so to speak, that it's going to affect their reputation as well. So I think that's a good learning experience. And from what we hear from Todd, Xbox has been there. They've been, hands-on as far as helping them out from, with the series. I think he's been talking about, he's been playing Starfield on the Series S, for the longest and stuff like that, just from a technical standpoint, helping them with any of the issues. So I think that Redfall could help, the child that is Starfield, be able to crawl and then walk to where it needs to be technically. So we'll see.
It's like Redfall is the fat friend of the hot girl. You know what I mean? You can go on there. You guys know what I'm talking about. The hot girl goes out. Got the tank right next to beside her.
I like this.
Well, you know what? You're saying it's like the pretty girls like to surround themselves with the ugly chicks.
Redfall's the ugly chick.
Oh my
God. You go ahead. Don't worry.
I was playing Redfall the other night. I actually kind of like it. I don't know what it is about that game, but I enjoy it. It's weird.
Yeah,
they said
play it a little bit here and there. Every now and then I'll hop in for an hour or something. There's nothing. It's one of those games where I have an okay time while I'm playing it, but I don't ever really feel the urge. I got to get back into that game, right? There's nothing there that's pulling me back in. But every now and then I'm looking through my list. Oh, there's Redfall. I guess I should jump in there again for a few minutes, and I'll do a little bit of that.
Well, it's such potential, man. Such potential, and that what I learned a valuable lesson with the Redfall thing is that when we went to cover it and. Clearly it was PC that we're playing, right? Clearly these high 4090 plus type rigs, and the game ran smooth. My only issue was, okay, they got to fix that AI and, density of the world. And is it going to be fun long term? Like, do they have enough in it? But I will say, when we got the Series X and S versions, I'm like, this is graphically not representing what I played. And I should have. The mistake I made was like, I have to. Is this going to be 60 frames? Or I just assume, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. So that's one of the lessons learned. I think they learned the lesson as far as the way they present their games at showcases and stuff like that, reveal events.
Got to be transparent.
Yeah.
Yes.
It just to some extent, I felt like it was supposed to be a vampire version of Left 4 Dead to a certain extent, but it just never quite hit on those same notes. And perhaps if it had a little bit more of that adaptive AI like Left 4 Dead had, where things kind of switched themselves up and the game never sort of played the same way throughout, perhaps it would have been more of a saving grace. But the fact it was like sort of open, but then sort of semi-linear, and then by the time you played like 7 or 8 hours of this game, it's like I'm kind of doing the same stuff, and you never really felt like there was a big purpose to it. Yeah. And you never really felt overly threatened. There were some really cool ideas there. Like, again, you can see that they were onto something, but it's just like somewhere along the lines, it's almost felt like maybe this dev just got tired of building this game and said, it is what it is now. Let's throw it out there.
And to your point, the stories came out, right? They were hoping the game got canceled. They were hoping that, they wanted to move away from it. And a lot of the core people from Arcane that made Dishonored, made those stealth-based, very deep, complex worlds, they weren't part of this project. So, yeah, definitely a learning experience.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure when some of the famous painters like Van Gogh got halfway through a canvas at times, they went, fucking shit, and just tore it up and threw it in the garbage. A game, unfortunately, because there's a lot more moving parts and a lot of money invested, probably can't do the same. But you have to wonder at times if a certain dev, or perhaps they lose direction as well, perhaps the direction falls off, and you kind of go, are they still invested in the project, or is it just it's paint by numbers? Like I always say, like those developers, like the guys who get paid to make Maddens and FIFAs and hockeys and stuff, like they got to do one of these every year. Like to me, honestly, after 4 or 5 versions, I'd be like, oh
Oh
you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
We gotta do this game again. And how do you make it much better? It's a sport. I mean, sport is confined by a very set of rules, and you can only make it so good essentially, or just add so much stuff. Well, EA is notorious. What they do is they add stuff and then take it away the following year, and then re-add it 5 years later and go, "It's a new feature."
It's a new feature.
Like,
yeah.
Come on now.
The returning feature you're bringing back.
Returning features. All right, let's move along to Forza before we close out the show here. Forza, it is just around the corner. I'm expecting big things from it. I mean, it is turn 10. These guys are notorious for making great games and certainly great racers. And, you know, it's been a few years since we saw the last Forza, so there should be a certain level of polish on this thing. But I guess my concern is, I mean, I'm not really worried about some of the features they said they're leaving on the floor. I mean, honest to God, how many of us really play a racer anymore in split screen? Very, very little, I'm sure.
It's hard to get mugs online,
right?
group up online. Like, we're supposed to get a goddamn battle royale together. We still got to do that shit. You know, put it out on Twitter, get that shit together, man. That would be so fucking fun. Everyone on Twitter that you know, like, you know, the community playing in the same game of Warzone 2. Man, if you're good or not, that's still fucking cool. Fucking, I killed Cognito. Fuck yeah.
Yep. That's what we do in community days. I'm like, all right, I got you. I'm looking for your avatar now. All
right. I'll be
back on that Halo
man.
anthem, man.
gotta get that Halo popping. Facts.
Indeed. So, you know, where do you guys think Forza ends up here in the grand scheme of things? Do you think this is going to be the worthy sequel to Forza 7, or do you think we're going to kind of roll back a little bit and we're going to end up with a Forza 5 scenario? If you look at Forza 4, come off of the end of the 360 generation, that game was pretty much the pinnacle on that era. And it had a full feature set. It had a lot of tracks and a lot of cars. And then, of course, you know, Xbox One comes out. Forza 5 is a showcase title right at launch. And it looked fucking phenomenal. Nobody could debate the looks of Forza 5. But then it was like, wow, where did half the trash go? Where did all the cars go? And, you know, and it wasn't a fully implemented Forza we gotten used to. But then they kind of fixed it by the time they got to 6. 7 was a progression of that. So do you think this is a scenario here where Forza kind of takes, you know, it's taken a few steps forward, but it's going to step back a little bit because, again, all of the stuff they're trying to implement, and a large part of that, of course, is hitting your 60 frames, having the graphic fidelity, having higher resolution rendered cars than ever before. What do you think? Titan, you got a big smile on your face, so maybe you got something to say there?
I'm having a conversation with Iceman and in the chat, man. He's cracking. He's talking about they're making a skin for me and Smite because I gave him so much money last year. I'm sorry. Keep going. I wasn't even paying attention to you. I'm pulling a U on me last week.
You're pulling a U on me. There's the line of the night. You're pulling a U on me. Welcome to the U-Haul podcast.
Oh man.
Fucking Ice, man.
Go ahead, guys. Whoever wants to take this one away.
Mental, jump in, man. What you got?
Yeah, no, man. I'm a motorsport guy. Like,
I need to hear this. I'm a Horizon guy. I need to hear from a motorsport guy.
So, you know, I've got the steering wheel. I got the Logitech 920 with the shifter and everything, and I'm super pumped to give this a try because I watched a YouTube video that was talking about how much they've improved the physics. And one thing that always drove me crazy, as a guy that uses the steering wheel and pedals, you think that would be an advantage over controller, and it wasn't.
Really?
All the fastest times were set with controllers, and the reason was the physics were completely different with a controller, and the steering wheel just didn't quite feel right ever. And part of that was, you know, you get your tire up on a curve and it was like the whole tire was on a curve. There was no tire physics really. And it just, there was things that didn't quite work right. And apparently that's all fixed. And it's going to be like a completely different game with a steering wheel and pedals and everything. So I'm stoked to try that because I was always a spec challenge kind of guy. I loved going in where it's really just the driver. Like there's that one track with the one Porsche in Prague, and you'd run that track, and I got up to like 50th in the world on that for that hot lap time in the spec challenge. And my buddy, I got a buddy that's just a Forza nut, and he plays it religiously all the time. He's in there. He's like doing paint jobs and making all these custom things for it. He's got skins and stuff for cars that have had thousands of downloads and whatnot.
Wow.
And this is his thing, right? So he'll be like, "Oh man, I just set this new time on this track. You got to go try it." And like 15 minutes later, I'd beat him. And it would drive him absolutely insane, right? So, I never used like the guide thingies on the track. Like I drive the track until I learn it myself. I find the apex myself. I figure it all out myself. The late braking, being hard on the throttle when you're in to get the back end to settle down, especially in that Porsche because the thing was so tail happy, and especially when you're on the brakes. So sometimes you're going in the corner, you're hard on the brakes, but you're also hard on the gas to keep that torque applied to the rear end to keep it in place, right? Stuff like that. Like that's yeah, but I'm really looking forward to it for no other reason than the physics are supposed to be so much better and so much more realistic. And that's like front wheel drive cars never felt right in that game, and apparently that's fixed. And I'm pumped. Like I'm looking forward to trying it out. I guess my actual space won't be done by then, so I probably won't be trying it out until I can actually use my steering wheel and everything, which is going to be more like end of November. But I'll be a bit late on it. But that's okay. I'll be busy in Starfield anyway.
Mental, you just sounded like someone dialed a 900 number or something about sex talk about cars.
He was cooking.
Well, that wasn't the intent. That was your brain taking it there.
Would you like to play with my fenders?
Turning on a specific demographic.
Head just didn't blow up right now, like from holding all that in.
Yeah, no, I am looking forward to it though. I'm not a Horizon guy. It's just a little too arcadey for me. So for motorsport has always been where my heart's at when it comes to racing. And
real men drive. Yeah. All right, I got you.
Yeah, it's good times, and I am looking forward to it. It'll be fun, but I'll be getting into it a little bit late because I have to use my steering wheel and pedals and everything, and that's all in the box in the basement, and it'll be.
But you expect big things from Forza. Obviously, you definitely seem excited about it, and you're expecting big things.
Yep, I am. I get a big chuckle out of the Gran Turismo comparisons, and you see the physics in Turismo, and it just does not look right, a lot of it. But I can be honest, I haven't played a Turismo game since PlayStation 3, so probably not the best one to critique it. But I expect it to continue to be the pinnacle of racing. So,
Cog, I want to ask you: do you think this Forza is kind of going to be the at least the last one sort of in the motorsport line? Do you think this is going to be a games as a service from here on out?
That is a good question, because they did change the connotation of the title, right? We're not getting the number at the end of it, which is interesting, which almost gives me like the Halo Infinite energy a little bit. It's not, Halo 5, Halo 6, that kind of thing.
Don't say that.
Hey, I think Noof is on to something, right?
If this game is amazing, like it comes out amazing out of the gate, right? I mean, seriously, is that such a bad thing that they just keep adding to the game and improving it? Then, like, you can only render a car so friggin' much before these things these games are already photorealistic. And much like the sports scenario, where do you take it? Like, you add more tracks, you add this, you add that, you add cars. So, like, when it comes to a game like this, I totally understand with the Horizon series, because they're going to different scenarios. They're going to different countries and different. But if you look at this one, a lot of the horses are still rehashed from the real world. They have some, of course, made up stuff too. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think if any game lends itself to sort of a staple of Game Pass, and in the long haul would still make a ton of money, would still be popular, but also not cost a lot of development fees overall if you're constantly not building the games over and over.
Mental, you going to jump in before? I see like you had something to say in reference to that.
Yeah, I do and I don't, but I think you're right. It's a great kind of game for that model, as long as they don't go overboard with kind of milking the storefront like they do with Halo, right?
Point. Yeah.
That's why I said don't say that. But if it comes down to, hey, here's your annual update, it's $20. I'm in. Like, that would be fantastic, right? It comes with a bunch of new tracks. They introduce a new class of cars. Maybe there's an IndyCar mode or something that gets added down the road, or a NASCAR mode, right? That type of stuff. That would
Add
be awesome.
motorcycles.
Yeah, that
Boom.
would be awesome. But yeah, as long as they don't try and milk it too much for the money, because that would just get flat out irritating, I think, and it would
Yes.
probably alienate a lot of people. Like the Turismo model, or what, like cars were $200 or whatever people were paying for that kind of stuff, right? That would be a huge mistake. But if they take it and they, in place of the EA Sports, where they, you were mentioning before, like they take a feature away, bring it back 5 years later, hey, it's a new game, and they just keep, oh, we changed the controls slightly and it's a new game. No, thank you. But if it's, because EA Sports, they could easily be doing, here's your updated rosters, here's the new stuff, and it's $30, and people would love it, right? And they wouldn't be alienating customers that are skipping entire seasons because they don't want to pay the $80 for another game. Yeah, if they do it right, it could work really well. I'm done.
I agree. I think it's, again, good catch, Doof. I thought when I didn't see that number, this is changing into a platform or potential Forza games as a service long term, or maybe this particular generation where they stay with it, they do updates. The key for them is going to be the handling of the live service model. My main issue and my main critique of them is what pisses me off is Halo Infinite is such a good game at its core, right? But the problem is the delivery of the actual service content. That is the mistake. They have not proven, at least 343, I should say. And I'm going to respect Turn 10, but 343 has not proven that they could deliver that model. Now, granted, now they're improving. Things look like it's turning around. Great. But at the initial, that's why it fell off a cliff. It started, Halo Infinite started so great. Everyone's playing it. The zeitgeist is there. And then everybody realized, okay, there's no more content. What's going on? When do we get maps? And that's what happens with Forza. Yeah, it suits it. It makes perfect sense to be able to add, content, different modes, things of that nature, and still have that base 4K 60, graphical fidelity that we're used to. And yeah, look, I'm looking forward. Yes, I'm a Horizon guy. I am the, the simple casual guy. Press Y,
the
rewind.
Yin to my yang.
Yes, I am definitely the opposite of you. I'm press Y when I mess up and do it over in my mind.
If we see the word season, damn well it's coming.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I will say, to Mental's point, there was a period, younger Cog did like the hardcore simulation racing at one point. There was a period I was in that pocket, and I know that the hardcore guy needs this avenue, right? So from what I'm hearing, things sound really cool. I know we're going to get into the features about, I don't know if you want me to jump into, what's been missing kind of thing, or you want to set that up?
Yeah, man, go ahead. I mean, tell us some of the things that they've nullified or not putting in there.
So the big controversy right now we're seeing is that they're looking like the split screen mode will not be there. It looks like there will be the lack of some AI in specific competitive modes, as well as no spectator mode. So the way I read it is, okay, as far as split screen, we got to talk about the elephant in the room. This is kind of like, the third recent title that we're seeing, like, okay, no split screen. We know Halo Infinite, from what we understand, it was supposed to be in there, and then they scrapped it, and that's not there. Obviously, we know what's going on with Baldur's Gate right now, where it will come to the Xbox platform once the split screen is enabled. And now we're seeing the Forza situation. So from what the developer is saying, it's like, hey, we're using a new engine. This is not our focus right now at this point. I don't know if it will ever come back, but I am starting to realize that rendering something essentially 2 times when you do split screen, right, is taxing. We can't say it's not, right? So then it comes down to the analytics, how they going to view it. Is this a mode that they look at and say logistically is based on the analytics that everyone utilizes? What percentage of the population is utilizing this? And if their numbers say 5%, 10%, or whatever it is, then publishers are going to make a decision on whether or not that's what the focus is. I hope it comes back. I'm not of the camp of removing features. I will say that I'm not in that. To me, I'm more, let's say disappointed, but I was like with the spectator mode, because I could kind of see like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like if there's online races going on and I could see, okay, Titan Drago's in there, Noof's in there. I'm not in the race, but I could watch everybody. He's got his whole community in there to have a spectators. That seems kind of cool to me. And from what I understand, and Mental, you could correct me, I thought this was a staple of the series. Like this, the series has always had this, right?
You're still keeping the drivatars, right?
Well, from what I understand, again, I'm not saying it's not there because I'm not the hardcore motorsport, but what I watched a doc on from the developer, I actually liked what they were saying. They're taking an approach that they're not doing that because they want to promote clean racing. So everyone's going to have like a safety rating. So Titan's out here ramming people and knocking people around. His safety rating is going to be, instead of an S tier, it's going to be a D and an E, right? Where if I'm driving with Mental and he's, applying the rules and, racing, not bumping, not doing shortcuts and stuff, his will be higher. But there's also a skill rating. And that excites me because the skill rating then shows, okay, how successful, how good is he? Should I even be in the same races as Mental? He's so much better than me and his skill rating. So these two factors is how they're doing the AI now. And I kind of like that because as a person that used to be in the simulation stuff, I want to, Titan should be with his people and racing in his queue of racers, right?
No, I don't like that. No.
We need to put you over there.
That's not fair. What about my AI?
Let me be, try to improve and be with the more.
That's AI racism. That's racism against my AI.
It's AI segregation.
So, that's right. No, I am definitely one of them.
Coolest things I ever heard when it came to the drivatars.
I don't know how you pegged me, but you're right.
So if the AI, last point I'll say, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you got if the AI is going to be done in this way, the way they describe it, right? And to me, that's more realistic. That seems more exciting to me. I think that's the better system kind of thing. And we'll see. We'll see if the hardcore appreciate it. But yeah, I'm very curious, Beto, because obviously you play this game consistently. So
so one of the major improvements is with the AI. The old AI, it followed basically 3 different paths through a corner, for let's say, and they were all like hand drawn by one of the developers. Now they're using machine learning for the AI to learn how to drive the tracks. And now I think it's 29 possible routes they can take through a corner now. And supposedly, for people that don't play it a lot, they'll be able to learn to drive faster by playing with the AI and following the AI's lines and learning the track that way. And the AI has really been trained to not hit you.
Yes.
And whatnot, which is a big difference too, because I can't tell you how many times I get slammed into by AI in the other games. That's why another reason I like the spec challenge, because it's just me hot lapping and I don't have to worry about getting driven into by anyone. But no, it's a huge improvement.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm really looking forward to trying that.
And I heard
on your fender, man. That's what I said.
And I heard the way they're handling even the multiplayer from like a race setup perspective. You got you before the qualifying laps and the kind of like a training before you get ready for the races. They're really revamping things and everything. Again, I'm the casual guy, but everything I read sounds really cool. So if it's being rebuilt to have better AI, to have more accurate style racing and then simulation and better driver promotion, to me, that's better than having a mindless avatar that could bump you and do all this other stuff.
Yeah.
So I think overall, it feels like an improvement in the right direction, but I guess we have to see based on the implementation.
Cognito is really my racing skills right now.
But
I don't know about your safety rating, bro. I gotta see. You gotta pull up
Joe Cognito.
I don't know, man. You look like that guy.
I am that guy.
Look like that guy, bro. I don't know.
Yeah, he looks like the guy that likes to rub the bumper, eh? I'm gonna give him a fucking nudge. Bump it out.
I didn't know I had that look. Hey, you know,
apparently though, like the AI will even make mistakes, and you'll see it'll ride up a bit on the dirt a little bit if that's the fastest way through the corner and stuff like that. So it should be really entertaining to see how it all plays out, I think.
Well, I mean, your avatar in the background there, Titan, kind of reminds me of Tony Stewart going off and sewing a NASCAR there.
I wish I knew more about Tony Stewart, but I put it together. All right. It's been a while, so Pixel Slap, my name. Pixel Slapper, you got to put yourself in my shoes, buddy. I got 2 mugs in the chat just letting me have it. And I got Lord Cognito over here attacking my AI. But and these dudes in the chat are on fire, okay? Like, and then like Noof just busts me out like a 4th grade teacher, didn't he, chat? Like fucking like he's like, hey Titan, I'm up here talking to you, got a smile on her face. What's so funny? Didn't you do that shit? I see you, Noof. I've played that card before. Yeah, I know that. I know that card. Freaking but as far as Forza goes, man, like the drag race sounds cool to me. Like that was the one thing, because I'm almost curious why they even mentioned that. Like, was that confirmed to be in the game before? Like, I don't know, maybe I just missed it, or because I haven't followed too closely about this game. You know, I just saw the amazing screenshots here and there and everywhere. Like, this game's fucking screenshots are everywhere. But I feel like drag racing mode, that would be cool, like free DLC, like for like season 1 or 2. You know what I mean? Like, for me, I prefer Horizon, but like this game looks so goddamn good. Like I gotta try this track racing shit out. Like, and also you guys mentioned about the rendering 2 screens at one time. It's kind of reminiscent of the Medium. Do you guys remember that game?
Yes.
How they did the 2 screens at once, and I remember the same conversations, the same kind of problems they had with that. So I mean, they figured it out. So I'm sure. I mean, all that stuff's coming, right? Is there anyone with any doubt that those things aren't coming at all? Because, I mean, it's one of the best developers out there, right?
Yeah.
In how many ways can you knock this developer?
Yeah, Turn 10 is definitely one of the pinnacles. You know, we can't take away from the quality they've produced. Again, the question is going to come down to resources and development time. The devs I speak to behind the scenes, they tell me, because I ask them, I got people I ask straight. I'm like, is it serious? That's a problem. I'll go straight to it. I'll be like, is it the issue? Right. I want the brass tacks of it. Because if it is, I'll accept it. Like, I don't have any problem with that. And every developer I've talked to behind the scenes who has no dog in the fight has literally said, look, no, Cog, it can be done. The issue comes down to resources and what you're willing to sacrifice, how much time you have, the studio, goal and publisher goal, and then again, what are you willing to sacrifice on some level from a technical standpoint? Because obviously, if you have that,
you know what it reminds me of? The Sega Saturn versus Sony PlayStation scenario, where developers skipped the Saturn simply because it took a little bit more work to make the third-party games render. That's why Tomb Raider 2 never showed up on Sega Saturn. Because again, it came down to resources and time. And when PlayStation got the big lead, a lot of devs just went, you know what? It just takes way more resources to get it on the Saturn. But here's the numbers to make it, right?
Here's the fun part, Noof, about what you're saying. This is where I'm going to clap back at all the people with the Series S is the problem. Here's the thing. We see the rumors about the Switch 2 appear to be it's the level of the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Now, we talked about time and resources, like you said. You damn well better believe if there's money to be made on Nintendo Switch, developers are going to find a way to have time and resources to develop on that lowest common denominator, which theoretically will be less than the Series S. So if you notice, look at what's happened with Jedi Survivor right now. All of a sudden, they're making an Xbox version. Why? Because most likely they have the development kits of what the Switch 2 could potentially be, which would be at that SKU, and there's money to be made.
Well, the Switch is going to get a shit ton of Xbox One and PS4 ports. That's exactly what's going to happen.
And all they got to do is get rid of things. Get rid of the ray tracing ability. That's easy. Click, copy, delete. You know,
every developer I spoke to said, "Cog, it can be done. It's what you're willing to sacrifice. Is that resolution? Is it draw distance? Is it ray tracing? Is it? You're gonna You're gonna be able to do it. You just got to sacrifice something in development time and resources. It all comes down to that.
Yeah.
All the physics and everything are running off a CPU anyway, and they're virtually the same. The GPU is going to be stressed, obviously, but
mental knows,
like you say, it's just bring down the resolution, you bring down the features, the draw distance, as Cog said, and eliminate the ray tracing. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of the way they put together the 4 teraflop is
Yeah,
a
the
pretty
memory.
big stretch.
Yeah.
And the memory's a little bit light.
Yeah.
I would have given it more RAM, and what I would have done is probably something closer to the X. Maybe in that 6 to 8 range would have been a better fit, and you'd have had a machine that's a lot more capable, and there would be way less to complain about. But it's doable in my mind. It's doable because the CPU is virtually the same, and it's as good as what's in the PlayStation. So, graphics is where you're going to have to lower the bar a bit for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I think they know that they want this Forza to come out. Most importantly, they want it to be eye melting. They want it to just like, wow, this is a next gen racer, and they're taking full advantage of it. So it is our first Forza on the Series S and Series X. So that's a Forza Motorsport, I should say. So yeah, there's definitely a little bit riding on this one as well. And they've had a few years now to kind of let it cook and take it in a new direction, which is, I guess that's the thing. You want it to be familiar, but you also want it to be different enough that it goes, yeah, well, we can see why they spend an extra 3 or 4 years in development time on this game, right? Because you don't want it to feel, again, like it's just another modern day update of the last game. You want it to feel a little bit fresh and new, and I think they're heading in the right direction. And a few features here and there, sure, they suck, but you know what? It's not the end of the world. Like I said, at the end of the day, you can't stress about spending hundreds of hours and thousands of dollars in resources to cater to 15%, perhaps maybe less of your market that actually gives a rat's ass about one particular feature. I mean, as much as the shit that we all made about Halo and the split screen, how many people really use it though? That's my question. Very few.
It's a good question. And I think that's what the conversation is, right? The conversation is, usage rate. And then the counter conversation is parity, because it seems Microsoft is, holding the X and S to a feature standard, a feature parity standard. And I don't know if that's going to change, kind of thing. But I will say this. Look, the Series S, they intend to be that lower entry, most likely the more popular system that more people are going to have, especially people who are not in the Xbox ecosystem, right? So the question becomes, okay, what features are you going to prioritize to say, we cannot sacrifice this for the S user? And that's a Microsoft decision. So I agree. It comes down to that. And then it also, like you said about feature usage, one of the points I made, I remember I was all like bent out of shape when I got my Series X, because I'm a Dolby surround guy, kind of, right? Dolby Digital 5.1, and I'm the guy that used the optical out on the the Xbox One, so to speak. Yeah. And I remember getting my Series X. I'm getting out the box, and I'm like, "Where's the optical out?" I was panicking. I'm like, "What am I gonna do? Like, I can't use my surround system. I literally had to buy a sound bar at this point, right?" But I'm freaking out. I'm raging the Xbox. This is unacceptable. What's going on? I was told, Cog, we've got the numbers. Like, the percentage of people that actually used Adobe out was so small they couldn't justify it in the new console.
That's weird, because I know a lot of headsets that use that optical out. My headset did.
Same. Astro. Yeah. And when the data was showed to me, I was like, really? Nobody's using it? Like, I'm in this small
I'm using it?
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm using it. I'm the majority. Yeah, it goes to show you sometimes the hardcore gamer, we overvalue because we're such in our niche, in our pocket. We're the hardest of the hardcore. But sometimes that doesn't reflect the real base and the majority. And companies are rightfully or wrongfully going to gravitate towards it. Yo, that screen with you with the teacher is hilarious. He do got the teacher energy with the glasses, though. He do. Classes in session with no doubt.
The feature that I miss, though, that HDMI input.
Yes.
That's how I had my PlayStation 4 plugged in.
Nice.
I would just go into that HDMI in, and then I could just flip over to it, and there's my PlayStation 4.
Bro, I missed the snap. I remember, Xbox
Snap.
Bro, I could watch a little football on the side, still play the game. Like, I was the guy that I was cool with all this.
That too.
Great. Yeah.
Snap.
I like
Snap
it.
definitely needs to come back. That was one of the best things that they got rid of, and I don't know why.
Yeah, they love it. But here's the thing. Again, we're the hardcore. We love it. We use it. They look at it like, damn, we're losing these performance battles to PlayStation. A lot of it is the extra CPU and UI resources that goes towards that. Let's give it back to the gamers. So the majority won out again, right? So
couldn't they here's my thing with that. Like that makes all great sense and all, but it's like, couldn't they come out with
More
I don't
powerful.
know, a firmware update or something that like turns that off and on? Like, all right, we need these resources when Snap is turned on, and we don't need them. Give them up when it's turned. Like, I feel like that could be fixed with a firmware update with a little tender loving care, I guess. You know, the time and effort you're talking about. So that's just frustrating.
For it.
I know a lot of people love that Snap.
Oh,
I don't know anyone that was like, get rid of Snap. Right?
Absolutely. I loved it.
Yeah, I was sad to see it go. When I finally got an Xbox, I was kind of more a PS4 guy to start with, Cog. You don't know that, but I was all about PS4 at the start of last gen. I was mad at Microsoft for that.
A lot of people,
2013. Yeah,
a lot of people. That was generation they didn't need to lose. Yeah.
And I was all Destiny on PS4 and played Destiny to death.
And I think you look like if you had a Destiny shirt on, I see some Destiny energy. I was my man, me and Mental gonna be friends. I wasn't sure. I was like, Destiny guys could recognize other Destiny guys because certain gear that you wear. I was like, that's a Destiny shirt.
Yeah, I'm an ex-Destiny guy though. Okay, I will say that. Yeah,
you retired.
Yeah, I retired after 4,500 plus hours in the game.
I feel it.
I pulled back. Too many other games to play, and it just was like a second job, so I had to cut it out.
And you're doing good. There's nothing going on right now. You stay away for a while.
I hear. Yeah. Maybe one day, but.
All right, gents. Well, I think we pretty much covered all of our topics tonight. So before we go, we're going to introduce Lord Cognito to one of our alternate panel members. As you can kind of see by the screen above, he wasn't here last week. He took a little break. Cog, I don't know if you've met him before, but he is dying to say hello to you and to the chat. So I hope you got your questions ready, guys, because now is the time. And here he comes. Welcome back, Handy Andy.
Hey, everybody, it's Handy Andy. Oh, my God. First of all, I got to say it's amazing to have Lord Cognito on the show. This is fucking amazing. And you know what's really cool? We both wear glasses. The only difference is I got a little bit more hair than Cognito, but yes, I'm so happy to be here. Yeah. So, anyway, I'm excited about Forza. I've always liked cars ever since the first day that I got on my big wheel. It was so cool. Oh my God, yeah. And I got such a great Hot Wheels collection. Oh my God, let me tell you, it's so awesome. But anyway, if you guys got a question for me, because I wasn't here last week. I was suffering with a bunch of really bad hemorrhoids and stuff. But anyway,
clearly where that head's coming from. I bet you're suffering still.
You're gonna scratch in my hemorrhoids. Oh. But anyway, who's got questions? Titan, you can read them out. You're a teacher. You're supposed to be smart, right? Right?
Well, we don't got a question, but I'm sure you got something to say to this.
Cog, have you got any questions for me? Because I love to answer questions. Like, I always have my hand up in school. Hey, teacher, I'm out here. The nerdy guy.
So how excited are you for Starfield, Andy? And I'm curious.
Oh, my God.
Just a little bit.
There's a little bit. There's a reason they call me Handy Andy. I'm getting shivers just thinking about Starfield and all those 1,000 plus freaking planets. I gotta actually land on. Oh my god! It's gonna be the best game since fucking Super Mario Brothers. Oh my god! I'm so excited. Stick hand on my ass again. Starfield. I'm getting in my ship. And I'm going to take a trip to a big old planet in space. Then I'm going to get down and land on the ground and stick my ass in your face.
Here we go, Andy.
Andy, Iceman in the chat, he had a $1.99 super chat. He says, Noof, the God of Farts DLC for Smite. What do you think of that, Handy?
Fart DLC, that sounds like, that actually sounds like something Activision would do, fart DLC. Like, I'm surprised it's not Call of Duty. It'd be like the fart gun. Oh, don't give them any ideas because they'll charge you like $20.99. Actually, no, I should take that back because fart guns would probably end up in Fortnite. Doesn't that seem like the perfect game for fart guns? They got everything else in there for crying out loud. Like, they got like dudes that fly through the sky and clap their ass when you get down. Like, they got everything in there. So it's probably going to be a Fortnite.
I'm surprised you didn't go with the the controller because there's the pizza smell. So like,
you know what's even worse? It's when you get grease on the controller from the pizza, and you're eating it and smell it at the same time. It's like, oh my god, that's just yeah. All my buddies were like that. They just had those sticky fingers all the time. There's nothing just drives me worse than chipping pizza grease on your controller. Oh my god, and then you're in a big old battle of Dark Souls and you can't beat the freaking boss because your hands are sliding all over the goddamn place.
He's out of pocket.
Handy, what do you got to say to Papa Woody? He says, Handy Andy is Randy and ready to suck your candy.
I want to suck your lollipop. Gonna lick your tail and just can't stop. When I'm gonna take a rip. When I'm like with the stick. Yeah.
They wilding today.
I like the celebration at the end.
Anyway, guys, I had a really great time. Cog, it was amazing having you here.
Likewise, great to meet you.
Yes, I'm always up for I'm always up for requests. I can do anybody. Yeah, it's cool. But anyway, have a great night, everybody. I'll see you in the next one. Yeah!
All right, my guy. Salute, my guy.
There you go. Andy, guys. Awesome shit. Woo!
So it's
He's quite the guy.
Those special guests that pull up, man. That's great. Support for the show.
It's like there's a first one in podcasting.
Yes, that was definitely. I know what the hell was going on. I'm okay.
How the screen is like, what's going on? Right?
I see the screen change. I was like, all right, okay.
Yeah. Well, now you've been introduced to Handy Andy.
No doubt, salute.
And no, that was not your tint on your shades. Those were just really yellow teeth on it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he doesn't brush too much, that fella.
He don't get out much, but
no, he doesn't get out a lot. You can see why he doesn't get out too much. He gets really excited. He's obviously very excited for Starfield. So yeah, absolutely. But anyway, guys, we're going to bring the show to an end. An amazing chat tonight. You guys were interactive and amazing all the way through. We do have another super chat coming in, courtesy of our good buddy Dragonheart Yobi. Drops $5.
Dragonheart and Xbox One era playing WWE games while watching the WWE Network via Snap was the dream. That's right.
Yes, absolutely. Used to do that. I used to play Madden while watching the NFL. Man, I used to have so much fun with that.
Iceman did have the super chat earlier. That I kind of remember the God of Farts DLC for Smite. Yes, thanks, Iceman. Greatly appreciate it, man. Iceman, a great guy to play video games with. And yes, we definitely got to get like a community game night and get some of the most profound podcasters together and just hang out and shoot the beans. And you know what? I can tell you one thing too. When you get the community members in that actually get to play, it's really cool because a lot of them only see us from like you see us on the podcasts and stuff, but I get that all the time when I play games with the community. You're like, oh, well, dude, it's nice that you're not stuck up and you accept a game invite and you'll play with anybody. And they think that's really cool. And I think it's important. I think it's fun to meet new people and you find some really good like-minded gamers and some of those people become like Talos Ray in the chat. Me and him have been hitting it off really well. And we've been playing a lot of games together whenever possible, like Diablo 4, and we've been doing some Redfall and a whole bunch of stuff, and it's awesome. So
nice.
Yeah. So, but anyway, guys, John Wolf, Papa Woody, Iceman, Timothy Dixon's in the building. What's going on, guys? Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget, if you're in the chat tonight, I have been writing your names down. So those times when I've looked a little distracted is because I've been adding your names to the list, to the wheel of winning. And some of you already have your 2 entries now. And come back for the next week and the one after, you'll end up with 4. And that is to win that Mass Effect controller, the Power A Mass Effect controller. It's really cool. Nice little giveaway. And hopefully somebody who really loves Mass Effect, hopefully will probably be the one who wins it. But everybody's been entered, including yourself, Cognito. You've earned yourself an entry tonight for being here. There you go. Salute to the Lords. Yes, the Lords podcast. So speaking of, Cog, let people know where they can catch up with you. Obviously, you got a fantastic time slot on Sunday mornings. Sometimes I don't get to catch your shows because on Sundays is kind of my day out with the wife, and we're usually up and at them. But let people know where they can catch up with you and all your content, my friend.
No doubt. Before we do all that, salute, Noof, man. Thank you for being patient with me. This is well worth the wait. It was a hilarious time, fun time, great topics. Titan, you the homie, you already know. It was good to see you to talk. And obviously, Mental, my first time really podcasting with you. So this was dope. Great show. The Fuse was lit. I enjoyed myself. So definitely like the name in there. But yeah, every Sunday, the Lord's Day at Lord Cognito on Twitter. Iron Lord Podcast at 1 p.m. Eastern. Check us out. don't want to jinx it, but I give you the exclusive, dude, because you're the homie. I give you the exclusive, but there should be a big show, and we should have, if everything goes clear, the legend Peter Moore will be in the realm on this Sunday Iron Lord podcast. So if everything goes through with the travel schedule, we'll talk about the good old days. Sega.
Well, that was some crazy foreshadowing tonight, then.
Yeah, it's funny. When you were saying it, I'm like, yo, no something. So yeah, like we got questions, and we will talk about the Sega, but we will talk a lot about his 360 run, because I really want to talk about golden era Xbox and the influence, and obviously Red Rings and everything that came with it. So again, I'll stay tuned. It looks like it's on course, and appreciate everyone to show the support. Sunday 1 p.m. Eastern in the realm.
Yeah, no, he's been a QC bud. He came over from EA first, wasn't he? Before he went to Xbox. It'd be nice if you asked them about maybe the competitive nature of both companies and how they approached game development too. Stuff like that would be really cool. Either which way, he was leading some really big companies, and certainly was pinnacle in the success of the 360 and their attitude and stuff moving forward. So it's great. I'm looking forward to that. That'd be awesome. Absolutely. Sir X-Man, he says, well, please ask Peter if he still got the graphic tattoo. Yeah, didn't he get Halo 3? Was it Halo 3?
I think Halo 1. He had a Grand Theft Auto 1 when they had the exclusivity for Xbox for a little bit. He was the tattoo man. But I think those are the temporary joys. But we'll get to the bottom of it. We're gonna ask those important questions.
Thank God he's not in charge of Xbox now and doesn't have a Redfall tattoo somewhere.
I don't think that would hit well.
Out of sight, out of mind, right on the left butt cheek. There you go. No. Man. Good stuff. Cog, great to have you here, man. Like I said, it was long overdue. Look forward to have you back sometime in the future.
And we'll get you in the realm. If I get you in the realm, brother.
Really glad Mental could be with us this week. We missed him the last couple. It wasn't the same without you, but glad you could be back. I'm sure, like I said, you still got a lot of stuff to take care of on your end. And I'm also hoping at some point in time you and I can go out for a cold one and catch up face to face, which is really cool. He's actually just moved a little bit closer to me. So we're in the same hood now.
We are absolutely. I'd love to do that, but for those that are interested, you can find me at Mental9R on X, whatever the hell that means. But at Mental9R on X, and I still have plans for my YouTube channel eventually, get things rolling. But for now, that's where you'll find me.
Absolutely. And the man who brings the heat, brings the big opinions, is why they call him Titan. Titan, let people know where they can catch up with you next, my friend.
YouTube and Twitter at Titan Drago, everybody. Usually ticking someone off around there. I got this problem, when I see ignorance, I don't know, I just attack it like a cat or something. I don't know. It's just this weird tick I got. So that's probably my biggest problem too. So anyways, gotta give it to the chat tonight for just driving me up the wall, man.
Spike Commander.
Yeah, so I gotta give the common sense award to Iceman this week, man, because he had me dying. He had a whole story tonight. I don't know how many of you guys paid attention to it, but man, my goodness gracious, watch it on the replay, watch all his comments and stuff. They had me cracking up. But anyways, Iceman, you win the common sense award. And Mental, good to have you back, man. Hopefully we see you next week. And Lord Cognito, man, the legend himself, man. Appreciate you coming out and hanging out with us, man. Good time. Hopefully we can do that some more together, man. You're a super cool dude, man. Freaking, I love the way your spirit, the way you, I guess how you could say you're like positive and you're always.
I knew the beefy thing. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. Mental had to do it.
Well, at least there's no female on the panel. We don't have to call it the Beef and Queef show.
Absolutely. Lord, you just got to remember there now. Till next time we meet, don't forget to bring the common back to sense.
The common back to sense.
I'm curious if Paris stuck around long enough to see Handy Andy, because he was probably going like, what the fuck? Is that supposed to be Major Nelson's new replacement?
Could you imagine that?
Could you imagine it? He just replaced him with like a puppet that looks like Major Nelson. Oh my god, it would be hilarious. He had the white gloves, the Mickey Mouse gloves and shit going on.
Remember the white gloves? I forgot about that.
Yeah, that would actually be pretty genius, pretty funny though.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, AC bongos.
Do one of those AI bots.
Mm-hmm.
Right, absolutely. Well, it's another Dynamite show. We had over 40 people live in the chat. Again, thank you much for being here, everybody. Again, you've been entered into that draw coming up on the 28th of the month. So up until then, we wish you guys a fantastic evening, and we'll catch you soon. And make sure you catch out the Lord Cognito and Company Iron Lord's podcast on Sunday, which I think you guys go at, is it 1?
Yeah, 1 p.m. Eastern.
That's right. Yeah, you betcha. Check them out there, guys, on YouTube. If you're not subscribed already, please do so. And again, thanks for all the super chats tonight and an amazing time, guys. Awesome stuff. Take care. We'll see you next week.
And don't trash talk my reckless drivatar.
Safety ratings, people. Safety ratings.
Or he will smite you.
Oh, he will smite you.
Wear your seatbelt.
You haven't had it right till you played Smite. Oh!
Yeah. Shit.